2, 1. Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. This is Wealth Principle 6. We've been on this journey through the wealth principles for the last 2 years, and now we're going into season 3. So for everybody who started with season 1 and 2, give yourselves a round of applause. The OGs, the original gangsters of the Alchemist community. Alchemist Nation is designed to help inspire entrepreneurs and real estate investors to get to the next level in their lives. Everybody that wears a shirt knows what we're talking about. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. So for everybody who's wearing the shirts, I see you. I recognize your beauty and what you're doing here. Names on deeds. I am an alchemist. Mission of millions, 100 millionaires. We've got a lot of opportunities in this world right now because there's so much money flooding in. Wealth Principle 6 of the 52 is build your business must solve a problem. Write this down. Your business must solve a problem. At first glance, this wealth principle looks like so what? Of course it does, obviously. But when you go deeper into it, there's a lot of money to be made on Wealth Principle 6. I'm really looking at what problems do I solve, and does my marketing message, do clients understand what I'm solving, or do they just see my solution? Does my client or my base, my marketing or my conversation just say, hey, I help you buy houses, or I help sell houses, or I'm going to help you get rid of your property at a discount to me? Or does it say something like, we buy ugly houses, or get a home value appreciation, get a value of your home, find out what it's worth as a way to attract and draw in the client? How does it solve a problem that they have? Well, I don't know the value of my home, right? Real estate investors, are we seeking more property? We want to buy more property at a steep discount. We want to buy more property with a little bit of meat on the bone, a little juice, a little extra profit in it for us? Yes, of course we do. And for everybody who's new to the wealth principles, these wealth principles are designed to double your income and double your net worth. If you're wondering why there are people in here for 2 or 3 years, the reason is because as they've doubled their income and doubled their net worth, they realize they want more and more and more. And some of you here have been with us for a while now, are millionaires and multimillionaires, and are looking to get to that next level. Hands to the camera if it's okay if you want to get really, really rich. Awesome. Hands to the camera if it's okay to make money helping people, to make money from your friends, and do things that you enjoy. Excellent. So we've got a couple of co-hosts, Ron Bowling, Terry Wager. If you can keep an eye on the chat and an eye on the panelist board, just bring in anybody who is in the mentorship program, the people who have been through our mentorship program, spent the money, invested the time with us. I want to make sure that all of their faces are here seen on the Zoom. So for everybody who's been in the mentorship, throw your hand to the camera if it has added value to your life. Excellent. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. When you join the mentorship program, we are committed to you, getting you to be successful, getting you to the next level, and whatever that means for you. Our celebrity coaches are here to guide, to be valuable to you. Like, their business model is to add service and create value for the person who is looking to get somewhere they've never been before. Hands to the camera if you're going to somewhere you've never been, at least physically. You've been there up here, right? You've been visualizing, you've been seeing what you're looking for. Excellent. Wealth principle 6, your business must solve a problem. So when I think of a wealth principle, I think back to where I discovered it, where I learned the wealth principle itself, what deep experience in my life created an awareness that this was something that needed to be written down. Hence, camera, if you know that's how you take notes, or who's done something like that. You've seen something, heard something so powerful that you just had to document it. Well, the wealth principles were built that way. And this principle came while I was living in Las Vegas, and I was thinking about the different businesses that were really exploding and really doing well. And I kept going back to why is Amazon so big? It's not just because of the internet. It's not just because he sells more than books. And Amazon, they have the CEO, Jeff Bezos. Hands up if you know who Jeff Bezos is. You've heard of the name, seen the face, can recognize his business, Amazon. Excellent. So why is it that something so big is so valuable to all of us? Everybody's used Amazon at some point. It's because Jeff Bezos, I saw an interview with him, And the interview said, we are obsessed, absolutely compulsively obsessed with our customer. We don't even notice our competition. We are so obsessed with what our customers want, so obsessed with what they're doing and what they're looking for, and adding more value to them, providing a service that they want, that we don't have time to pay attention to the competition, which is why there is no competition. We haven't ever manifested them, haven't thought about them. All we do is focus on the customer. Hence the care, if you know that your customer is the solution, your customer is the solution to your problem, your money problem. If you don't have the money you're looking for, it's because you haven't solved the problem for enough people, or a big enough problem for one person. I hear often that, oh, well, my friends don't have money. Change your friends. You don't have to change your product, change your friends in those situations. But it's possible that your friends do have money, you just aren't aware of it. Who's taken a loan before or used insurance at the hospital? Never? Know anybody who's done a loan for school, or a loan for something, or a loan for property, right? So I hear often, my friends don't have money. Well, maybe they do have access to money that you're not aware of, that you're not thinking about. I've seen broke people drop 50,000 on college tuition. I've seen people who had absolutely no money spent $83,000 on a procedure, a series of procedures. Money they didn't have, but they had insurance. Money they didn't have, but they got a loan to send their kids to college. We're getting this. People have money. They have access to money. I've seen people at success events, man, go out and create credit cards to pay for success events. I've been one of those people. In fact, at one event, I magically saw the value add of them helping me get $35,000 in credit cards. Hands up if you've ever been at one of those, where it's, presented as customer service, solving the problem. It did, by the way, it did help. And I do have access to a lot of credit now, thanks to that situation. But it put me into a situation of having to pay off a lot of credit cards. Who's paid off a lot of credit cards before? Man, there is nothing like paying off debt to make you realize you don't ever want to be in debt again. There is nothing like paying off. My peak was $150,000 on credit cards. Let me tell you, there's nothing like 150,000 on credit cards to make you realize there's no job on the planet that can solve that problem. There is no 9 to 5 on the planet that can solve $150,000 at 22% interest. We're getting this, all right? 22% interest on $150,000 will eat you alive. The interest on that, I think the monthly payment, minimum payment was like $5,000 or $6,000. It varied so much that I didn't even notice. I had to out hustle the debt that I'd created. I had to outwork it, and I had to live. So I had to pay what most people live on. The average income in America is $55,000. I was paying that just in credit card debt, let alone my other liabilities and expenses that I built. And Wealth Principle 6 is what helped dig me out of it. My business had to solve a problem, but I had to solve a bigger problem than the ones I'd been looking at. In the past, I'd just been looking at transacting as an agent. Where my real estate agents at? People who have their license or have worked for real estate and understand what real estate, you get paid $5,000, $10,000 on a transaction. And I was going at that route, and I'd learned that if I had to pay down $150,000, I want you to visualize this. If I had to pay down $150,000, that means I had to earn $200,000 because I'm going to pay 25% interest on that with the bank, right? With the government. The government was going to take their tax, their 25%. So if I had a debt of 150, I had to earn 200,000, but that didn't give me money to live off of. Let's assume I still had to live off of $50,000. That means I had to make $250,000 in order to pay off that credit card debt. Hence, Cam, if you know, that's a game changer for most people. Like that awareness. And so it forced me to think of something bigger, forced me to find a problem so big that it would pay me $250,000. And the problem I solved was housing. I solved the housing issue for somebody by buying properties that people wanted, but I bought them at a discount, and I improved them. I value added the property. Who's done a renovation like that? Who's done a flip or a renovation of some sort where you buy it and then you value add? force the appreciation. So I done this 2 years earlier. I sold my own assets to somebody who wanted to pay more, who wanted it more than they wanted it more bad than I did. They wanted it worse than I did. There are people out there right now who want the things that you have more than you want them, but you got to find the things that they want the most, that they're willing to pay for the most. And the reason real estate is even better than being in the medical industry, even better than being in the education industry, real estate is something that the bank will finance for 3% or 2.5%. And the bank will finance 80% of the loan. We're catching this. You don't have to sell too many of those if you buy them right, if you buy them appropriately. You can have massive funds coming into your life right now by solving a problem so big or that has so much profit on it that it's just one shot changes the game for you. We're catching this? Now, every business is different, but every business has their juicy product. Now, real estate has their $5,000 product, they have the $10,000 product, they got the $25,000 product, they got the 50, the 100, they got the 500, they got the million, the $250,000. Every level of this game, it goes to how much you're thinking, what you do, what customers you service, what houses you go after, what inventory you start with will dictate your profit in the end. We make our money on the purchase in real estate. And in business, you do the same thing. You make your money on the quality of the client you choose to serve, on the level you choose to serve that client. In fact, I'm in the coaching business, or at least I have a coaching company, and I service people for $100,000. I work with 3 clients. 3 clients here. That's my maximum that I work with. You know, there are coaches out there who will work for $500 for a year. There are coaches out there who will work for $1,000 for a year, right? Me and Tara, we've met these discount coaches. We know they exist. Does that make them worse or better? It just means that they don't understand their value. I mean, they're probably not going to be able to help you get to a higher level income. Does that make sense? Because their income is not there. And I don't judge, man. Charge whatever you think you're worth until you get to the point that you're worth more. But the point is that you have to have a product. I realized there was a product I wasn't delivering to the world, and that was my one-on-one coaching. I said for years, I'm not going to do it. I offered it to 3 people last year. It was phenomenal. They all gained over $1 million net worth, or actually one of them got completely out of debt and gained, I think, Ken Hoffman, what was it, $500,000 net worth? Ken, you're on the call here.
Yeah, I'm on. I wish it depends on how you slice it, but as a family, net worth went up by $250,000.
Mm-hmm. And we pulled you out of debt. It was crazy debt, and pulled you out and slammed you up by $250,000. And this year, if I look at everything that was set up in that one particular time, this year you're set up for another $500,000 at least.
I'm working on it right now. I just drew up an LOI last night for something really awesome. So
awesome. Let's give Ken Hoffman a round of applause. The reason I share that is because I didn't have a product at that level before, but I was being asked for next level products. You may be missing an opportunity. I learned this from Starbucks. They have a coffee machine. I think it's $1,500 or $2,500. They have or $750, whatever it is. There's a coffee machine that costs 100 times more than the coffee cup. Does that make sense? They got a product in there that is 100 times more expensive. And you understand why it's so expensive, because you can produce your own Starbucks coffee in your house with the same machines that they're producing coffee. So it makes a lot of sense that you would pay that money if you wanted that kind of convenience. Well, we're the same way. Your business has a product that is so juicy, so profitable, makes so much sense. And that may be the bigger deal. Ron and I talk about our 24 units often. We made $1.5 million in one swing. We have way more often gone and made $25,000 on a single swing, or $50,000 on a single swing. It wasn't until we went and did a deal of a larger size that we realized what was possible. Up until the 24 units, the biggest deal we'd ever done was 10 units. Does that make sense? But after we did 24 units, we said all we do is 24 units up. We won't do anything smaller than this again. Your business must solve a problem. And the bigger the problem is, the more money you get paid. The more income you receive, the better your net worth. So in your life and your ambitions in building your business, building your quality of life, even with serving your spouse, because remember it is about serving each other. You want to be making sure that you're stepping up to that level of how am I solving a problem in your life today? With your friends, when you want to go deeper with your friends, when you want to go deeper with your customer relationships, what big problems do you have? Who knows that I always ask what challenges are happening in your world, right? Who's been on the calls? Everybody in the mentorship knows I'm asking, as soon as we log into the call, what is a challenge? What is an opportunity? What is something that's going on in your world? So I want to drop into the chat right now. We'll do this with everybody who's on the call. If you're on Facebook Live, if you're here on the chat with us, if you're on YouTube, throw into the chat, what is the biggest challenge that is stopping you from making $1 million? Hold on, today. What is stopping you from making $1 million today? And this is only for the people who don't have $1 million coming in by the end of today, right? It's within these 24 hours, which I imagine is everybody on the call. Because for some reason, it seems like March 12th was the day that nobody in this call received their $1 million. Hands to camera if that's okay. It's okay that just today happens to be the day we didn't receive our $1 million. So drop in the chat, what is the reason that today didn't lock down the 12 mil, the 1 million? It didn't happen today. Awesome. So I'm reading, and I love this. Dorena, we got to copy this chat after this call. Let's copy the chat so I can spend some time wrapping this around my head, like figure it out. And some of them are lack of opportunity. Some people say nothing really, but we know that nothing really means there's something there. There's some reason the million didn't come in today. I need to skip Tracy's owners, taking down deals, relationships, network, credit, knowledge, knowing the right people, funding, haven't invested enough, don't have a deal. Yes. Hey, can't make money without a deal, right? Awesome. Housing limits, income. Absolutely. Lack of financial income. Later, focus on one thing. Yes. Confusion, chaos, disruptions, drama, the 2 C's and the 2 D's. I love it, Melissa. Very valuable. Staying focused. Stay in my lane. Yes, Alan, very good. Lack of motivation, fear to take risk. These are all awesome. Excellent shares. The day is still young. Frank, I love it. So Frank, let's pretend there was something stopping you from locking it down today. What would that be? Focus and knowledge, know-how and focus, confidence, distractions, having the money, not the right people to work with. Absolutely. Yes. Time blocking and leveraging OPM, which reminds me, and Brian, you're going to like this. I was hanging out with one of my multimillionaire friends, Steve Breton. He's also a mentor of mine. We were hanging out this Thursday in Boston. I was in town. I had spoken at the multifamily network when Dorena had set it up, and I was having this conversation with Steve, and I said, I slipped out OPM. The word came out of my mouth. And Steve said, yeah, the problem with OPM, like other people's money, is people think of it as other people's money. Man, if you want to raise capital, you've got to think of it as your own money. It's your own money that you're investing. And yes, you're paying a dividend to other people. They're your partners. You pay them something. But you've got to treat the deal like it's your own money. You got to invest the money like it's your own money. Invest it like it's your last dollar, so that when it does make a return, it guarantees a return. Make sure that your investors are always making money. So he said, I don't think of it as OPM. I think of it as my money. Does that make sense? That's a great person to invest with. That's a great conversation to have with somebody who you're looking to consider putting your money in as an LP on a deal. Not that I'm promoting that at all. I'm just saying that if I were to put my money into a deal, Steve Breton's one of those guys I trust. Mike Pacini's one of those guys I trust. The people that, Steve, who is Rod Khleif, somebody that I would trust to do deals with, because they have experience and they're personal friends of mine. I've met them, I've hung out with them, I know what they're doing. Vinny Chopra, right? Who saw me on the podcast with Vinny Chopra recently? Watch that podcast. So there's now a course on Alchemist Nation. If you go to alchemistnation.com, there's now a course with Vinny Chopra. He's a billionaire, or at least, his net worth 650 million or 640 million. So he'll be a billionaire. He said it to me. He's like, well, within the next 8 years. So you got a course with the mindset of a billionaire. There's such a powerful course in Alchemist Nation. And we've got something coming up that is probably the most valuable product that we could come up with in the training company after really evaluating and looking back and saying what served the community the most, what built the most millionaires, what was that ignition switch, what was that partnerships connected element, and that is the 100 Millionaire Summit. The 100 Millionaire Summit created more for this community than anything else combined. Now, the 52 weeks to wealth, man, it's required, right? This is necessary to stay motivated, it's necessary to keep your mind sharp, focused on the right ideas. Your business must solve a product, your product must solve a problem, your business must solve a problem. This principle, we're going to do an exercise in just a minute, but the 52 weeks to wealth is motivation. You wouldn't go a day without showering, right? I showered a little while ago, so I didn't stink for you guys. I wanted to be as fresh as possible. When I got on the camera, you guys smell it on the other side. I'm like Irish Springs right now. Unless you like the Dove soap, then I smell like that. Whatever you decide. But the idea is that every day you've got to motivate yourself. You've got to get that inspiration. That's why these are recorded, and that's why I put out some of the shorter clips. I asked Jem, my VA, to put out some of the shorter clips so that you can just put something on that works for you. Inspire yourself. Now, some of you are great on camera. Some of you are great audibly. And you can write your own inspirations. Pull out your phone right after this call and just slam down some affirmations, slam down some truths about yourself, truths about life. In fact, I would challenge you to share it with the world. After this call, I do this every so often, is go on Facebook Live and share why it makes sense for your business to solve a problem, or what problem your business is looking to solve, or how you became aware of the problem in the marketplace. For example, you may do something like me. If you're a mentor and looking to build 100 millionaires, you may say something like, I recognize that fear was the reason most people weren't wealthy. I recognize fear was the reason that wars were started. Fear was the reason for discrimination. And fear is what was stopping the world from living in peace and abundance. And so how did fear come about? And I realized that it came from ignorance. Ignorance created fear. So what is the solution to ignorance and fear? Education, knowledge, truth. And so I started seeking truth. And as I sought more truth, I recognized that we are a monetary system. As a society, in this current state, we are very monetary based. If I tell somebody I'm a millionaire, they immediately either bless me or feel absolutely afraid or disgusted. It is a very polarizing topic. If I tell them my net worth is $5 million, they will immediately defer to me or bless me. And the people who bless me are people who want to become millionaires themselves. And the people who suddenly are subservient little servants are people who are intimidated by money. Hands to camera if you know that's most people. Most people on the planet, you tell them you're a millionaire, they're like, oh my God, you're so much better than me. Dude, no, all I did was make a couple financial moves. I am still a flesh and bone human being who makes mistakes. And sometimes, yes, maybe I am better at speaking. Maybe I am better at high fives. I've practiced them. Right? I got a lot of practice high-fiving people and hugging people and blessing people. So there may be some opportunities that I have because I've experienced and practiced. Does this make sense? Fortunately, these are things we can all practice. We can all practice giving somebody a compliment. We can all practice sharing our wins, sharing a principle that has worked. And the summit, like I was saying, is the best product. When you say your business must solve a problem, the summit solved multiple problems that I saw when it came to the world where ignorance was my enemy, fear was my enemy, and the solution was truth, education. Surrounding yourself with people who understood truth was one of my tools, right? The pack, being able to surround yourself with a mindset, a group of a mindset for 3 days. Who was at the 100 Millionaire Summit this year in 2021? Who could you feel the energy in the room? It was just different when you got into the room. And then the conversations you were having were like conversations you wished you had all year. It was like being in a room full of people you've been dreaming about. Like, oh my God, why couldn't the whole world be like this? It can be. We've just got to get together a little more often in bigger amounts. We've got to do the videos. We've got to share our message with the world. We've got to let other people know what alchemy is all about. That your business, each one of you, I'm talking to you right now, your business is here to solve a problem for more people. There's so much money flowing to you problem solvers right now because you're solving a problem for more and more people. And this is an affirmation that you may want to listen to later. In your life, in your business, you're solving problems for more people, for more money. And it becomes easier and easier for people to acknowledge and be aware of how much they need your business and you in their lives to solve their bigger problems that they are willing to pay larger amounts of money for. This is the truth. This is, as they say, the master code to live by. And it is an awareness that you now have that you can move forward with. Hands to the camera if you recognize that is true. It can be your truth. It can be something you decide to live with every day. And you may want to go back and grab that little snippet and record it for yourself, or write down the affirmation and say it to yourself in your own voice and play it back to yourself daily until you find it to be true. This is something, by the way, something I do. At the 100 Millionaire Summit, you're going to meet the right people. You're going to meet the right people. You're going to be hanging with millionaires. You're going to be hanging with alchemists. You'll be hanging with all of the people who've come through our mentorship program, who have gotten their mindsets right, who've gotten their mindsets to a point where they now seek to add value to others, where their businesses are such valuable products for other people. You're going to be networking with them. We're going to have our networking day on day 2, where you get to the opportunity to connect after being reminded like how DISC works, how partnerships work, what you're looking for in a partner. After setting your goals on day 1, setting your partnership goals. And for those of you who have the VIP tickets, the people who have bought the VIP, which by the way, the VIPs are paying $5,000 to be at this event. Because they're paying so much, I decided to add an extra day for the VIPs only. This is the Thursday before the event, October 20th. The VIPs are getting a leadership, culture, and management training from me personally, so that they can develop their skills to be able to leverage everything at the 100 Millionaire Summit event, so that they can go into the event saying, this is the culture of my company. These are the partners I'm looking for. What are you? Do you fit into this? So they can clearly communicate at the event and acquire their new team. With the right people, you can make as much money as you want, right? And at the summit, that's what we're designed to do. And the VIP tickets, they're limited, unfortunately. They're limited to the people who are committed. That's all I had to do. It was just put the price high enough. And I realized if I let them know we're building culture, we're building management skills, we're building leadership skills, the people who know how valuable other people are will sign up for the VIP tickets. I only got 30 spots. And I don't know how to make it more than that, because we're going for deep relationships. We're going to be eating lunch together on day 2 or day 1. And on day 0, right, Thursday, we're going to be in a culture training, a leadership training, a management training. This training is not just for you, it's for me. It's what's needed to build the mission to get to the next level. The reason I charge is to make sure that you show up. It's just to weed out the people who are unserious. I would love to do teach culture and leadership to everybody, but I also know that it can be a dangerous tool, because culture, leadership, and management, these are also forms of manipulation. Does that make sense? Right? We understand that in the wrong hands, they're exactly like manipulation. Only somebody who's truly abundant, who already is working with employees and has people that they're serving, understands how important it is to be able to build the culture properly, to do the management and those pieces. So this is VIPs only, but I guarantee you, for everybody in the community who doesn't make it to the VIP area, these people are going to be a part of our mission in such a big way, and they're going to serve us in such a big way. So when you see the VIPs at the event, bless them, thank them, have a conversation with them, learn about their business and support them, because these men and women who have decided and got to that next level and committed, made that commitment, they are going to benefit all of you just by being lights, by being beacons, by being people who are serving at that higher level, Who knows? It's nice to have a Millionaire in the community who you can ask questions to, right? A pentamillionaire you can ask questions to who's built something large that you'd like to, who's completely automated their business. Yes, we want more of that. So bless them, bless the VIPs. When you see them walking around in the room, when you see them with their sweet VIP badge, right? Hook them up. Be like, let them know. Thank you. Ask them, what'd you learn on the day before? What'd you learn on day 0, right? On the leadership training day. What was it like? What were some of the major takeaways? What suggestions do you have for me? Or you can ask them the golden question. After that day of learning about culture and leadership, what is the business you're looking to build? What are some of the changes you're going to make in your business? Who are the partners you're looking for? Who here wants to get really filthy rich? Man, ask the VIPs what they're looking to do and then get in the way as soon as you can. Go solve the problem that they're looking to solve. Right? Go out there and be one of the assets to their company. Become a strategic partner. There's a lot of money to be made at the summit. Man, I'm telling you, it is the most valuable thing that we've ever done. It is the biggest, baddest, most valuable event of the year. There are other events going on. Those other events just want to educate you on the same stuff you can already get from Google. Right? Trust me, I know, I've been. At this event, we're building your business. We are committed to building millionaires. You will, on day 3, sign the Millionaire contract. You will sign a contract that commits you to becoming a millionaire. It's bound with you, with your soul. It is tied to your belief system. It is tied to your commitment to yourself. And the contract is written. Who has the contract? Who has the contract from last year? Yes? When you read the contract, is it not empowering? Yeah, it is an empowering contract. It gives you instructions, gives you tools that you can use to make sure that you hit your goal. So I'm going to ask everybody who has it to go back and review it today. Go back and look at the contract that you wrote with yourself and signed. It is documented. And just review the contract and allow that energy that it brings to you to manifest for a little while. And for everybody else who didn't go, don't let that happen again. Look, we've all made mistakes. It's okay. Forgive yourself, right? It's all right. It has happened to the best of us. Sometimes we just didn't know. It could be me. It could be my fault. I wasn't letting you know about the event. In that case, I apologize. I'll let you down. This year, I'm letting you know well in advance. Book your tickets now because the prices are going up, especially the VIPs. Right now, Dorina, what is the VIP price right now? So right now it's $1,500. It is going up next month. At the end of this month, it's going to be $2,000. These are $5,000 tickets that go up 10% every single month. Now, Dorina did ask me about the general admission because I was doing the same thing with general admission. And she's like, do we have to do that? I really don't think that's fair because general admission, they're sitting in the back and they're still networking. They're there to add value to the rest of the community and they have paid. So the general admission, we're not going to be raising anymore. We're going to leave it right where it is. So if you have friends or family that want to get into the event, we're keeping it super affordable. My goal was to get to $1,000, but Dorina has negotiated me. She said, no, for the people, we're going to keep it down. So I think there's actually going to be a price reduction. What is it, 247? I take it back, no price reduction. So it's going to be a 247. We're keeping it that way. That is the entry level. So if you have a friend, you have a family member that you want to be there, either you buy a ticket because you love them so much. By the way, 1 year for Grant Cardone, I spent $5,000 to bring my friends to 10X. I brought 10 of my friends to 10X and I paid, $500 to get me and Ron the executive seats. And Grant ran this sale. It was a crazy sale where all the tickets were $100. And I was like, dude, click, 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 click. And I brought everybody to 10X, everybody on my real estate team. Yes, Karen, if you know that, that's a very valuable thing to do. It tightened my team up, right? It strengthened them. I had my assistant there. I had my real estate agents. I had my brother there. Like I just paid for everybody's ticket. I was like, look, you're just coming. Like, this is just so that we can have a deeper relationship. This is so that we can be on the same page so that you can see what I'm about, what I've been going to. And I just paid for their tickets. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that, but if I did run in a sale that is as ridiculous as Granted, is that something that would be valuable to the community? If at some point I ran a ridiculous sale where like $100 for tickets, okay. So that may be something that we do in the future. It's not something I'm doing this month. But if you have friends or family who they're like, man, like 2,500, $250 is too much for me to pay to go to a 3-day event. Understand, one, they just have no idea what they're talking about. That's okay. It's quite all right. And two, it may be up to you to solve that problem for them, because you are going to make far more from that relationship on the other side. From you hanging out with them for 3 days, if you can't make $250, then yes, you chose the wrong person to be friends with. Then and then save yourself the trouble now. Don't hang out with them anymore. But if you can't build a business with somebody you care about, I'm hanging out with Austin right now. I'm in Austin, and we're with one of Doreena's friends, Luba. And as we're talking, I'm like, dude, like I want to make this girl so much money. Like it's just part of being a friend. Like I'm just like hanging out with her, and I'm like, man, like she's a coder, she's a developer. And I'm just like, dude, like there's got to be a way in my company, something I can do, something I can build, like an aspect that I can leverage her skills. I just want to be able to build a business with her. Does that make sense? I do this with every one of you. Anytime I sit down with any one of you, I'm like, okay, like how can we tie you in? That's why Frank Montero now is running Alchemist Financial. Let's give Frank a round of applause. So we lend, right? We're offering money. We're lending on deals, as long as they're investment deals. That's why Dr. Terry Wager has Generator Coaching in Alchemist Nation. He's serving people. That's why Doug McGurk has his masterminds, has the Mentor Mind, has Heart of Influence coming so that people can learn how to communicate better so they can make more money. That's why Jen Sullivan just locked down 2 books yesterday. That's $15,000 in one day that me and Jen as a partnership were able to lock down for people who are getting ghostwriting done. But even further, these are people who are coming to our platform and teaching for free. Every person who writes a book through Jen's pen has also committed to putting a free course on Alchemist Nation. How cool is that? Hands to the camera if you recognize, like, this is a beautiful thing that we're building through partnerships. Every author that comes through, I'm just like, yes, let's do something together. How do I serve you? How could you serve my community better? Mitch Jorsky. I met Mitch. He was just like the tall guy who talked about real estate, the New Yorker accent when I met him, thanks to Dorina. But over the last few years of knowing Mitch, he's become one of my closest friends and made me tens of thousands of dollars through crypto just by serving, just by creating ways for me to make money, by serving this community. Hands to camera if you know, Mitch has helped this community make tens of, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars through crypto, just in his education, just in teaching, just in sharing, through his masterminds, through his workshops. Let's give all of our celebrity coaches a round of applause right now, and all my partners a round of applause. Man, Ron Bowling, he's building millionaires on a level without words, right? He builds millionaires through me. Me and Drew Martin, right? We're working on a course with Drew. We did 15 minutes of gold a few years ago, the podcast. There's a lot of powerful stuff because of live events. And the 100 Millionaire Summit, we have built to be the live event that crowns all live events, because we're different from everybody else. We have one thing that separates us from everybody else. At the 100 Millionaire Summit, we are building 100 millionaires. That's our commitment. That's our guarantee. 100 millionaires will be built at the summit. 100 millionaires will be connected at the summit. In fact, our goal is to put 1,000 people in the room this year. There's no other event on the planet that guarantees or is committed or is focused on building millionaires, specifically millionaires. That's what we do. Hence the camera, if you know, that's cool. Being that serious about what you're doing, being that clear about it, that's why it works. Everybody else is like, I want to teach people financial freedom. What the hell is that? Financial freedom is just like whatever. It's like, okay, just get their debt low enough, get their expenses low enough. They're financially free. It's easy. Becoming a millionaire is a very specific goal, very specific. With $1 million net worth, you can earn as low as $10,000 a year, or you can earn as high as $250,000 a year. It depends on your APY. It depends on what you're getting for a return on investment. And scam, if you know that's true. So what you make is up to you. The net worth is up to me. I've committed to at least $1 million. For some of you who've been in the program a little longer, yes, $5 million. Or some of you, you're earning your second $1 million. For some of you, it's $10 million. I've made those commitments to people because they've had those conversations with me. Does that make sense? I don't have a $5 million conversation with somebody who hasn't made $1 million, just so we're clear. Don't come to me like, hey, I want to make $5 million. Let's get to $1 million first. I don't mind if you do $1 million in a year. I'm fine with that. That's okay. So the 100 Millionaire Summit, how to get access to it. Does anybody know the link? Who knows the link? 100mmsummit.com, or you can talk to Mark Dozos and have a conversation with Mark about why it makes sense to be at the summit, why it makes sense to be at the VIP, and what's included in the VIP. Who has already talked to Mark Dozwa? So, Mark, can you just put your contact information in the chat? If somebody wants to have a conversation with Mark about the summit, then have a conversation with him. Mark is very aware of everything that's going on. As we make updates, as we make changes, he understands the value stack, what will be there. You can ask him who the special guests will be, what some of the topics will be. And Mark, if there's anything that people ask that you don't have answers to, you got direct access to me, brother. So let's give Mark a round of applause. I appreciate him. He's helping us fill up the room with the right people. He's helping fill the VIPs today. So if you're serious about the VIP and you know that 5,000 is what it'll be the week before or the month before, and right now it's $1,500, this is a steal of a deal. This is an opportunity. This is a chance for me and you on the day zero to talk about leadership, culture, management, how to scale out your business. If your business is not at a point where it's ready to scale, you may want to be a VIP so you can be hanging around people who have already scaled their businesses, are ready to learn how to get to the next level. You're going to get a full day with them on Thursday, and then you're going to get lunch with them. And guess what? You'll be hanging around with the VIP badge all week, so you'll be hanging around with them. Does that make sense? This is an affordable way to level yourself up. It's an affordable way to step into the VIP before it's unaffordable for some people. It's okay to stretch on some things. Now, there'll be things presented at the summit, like, I talk about my $100,000 coaching, that may not make sense to stretch on yet. We getting this? I'm very ethical. I only want to work with people who it's not a stretch for, or it's like a little stretch. It's just a flex, right? Well, every price point, we've gotten really good that every price point is covering every problem. The bigger problems, bigger price point, because there's a bigger return on investment there. Smaller problems, smaller price point, right? Don't know what to do, don't know how to get somewhere, broke to $250,000, great book to read. $10, it guarantee you a 10 times return on investment. Again, if you can't make $100 from reading the book, man, you didn't read it right, read it again. This making sense? We got Names on Deeds, a great product, $97. If you can't make $997 after going through that course, go through it again. It's in there, I guarantee you. It's same thing with the summit. If you can't make $50,000 from that $5,000 investment of hanging out with me in that room, learning, culture, context, management, leadership, if you can't make $50,000 from those skills, then just you and I have to have a conversation. I'll record it. Who knows that it'll be valuable if I record that session so you can watch it again? Yes. There is more than enough money in this world. There's so much abundance. I'm telling you, like, just for a moment, I want you to think about it. Before we open up to questions and I have the celebrity coaches answer those questions, just think about how much money the government just printed for free this year, last year, trillions of dollars. Actually, it wasn't this year, last year and the year before, trillions of dollars flooded into the marketplace. Think about how expensive real estate is. Real estate has gone up 17% in a single year, 17%. And people are still buying it, supply and demand. That means inflation is a real thing, right? That means there's so much money in the marketplace, more than there ever has been. You've got to go get it. You got to open your heart, open your mind, be willing to receive it. And at the 100 Millionaire Summit, we're going to, if there's any issues, anything that hasn't, cracked open, we're cracking it open. This is our last ditch effort to jumpstart the heart of income. Let's make it sound, hey, Doug, you hear that? The heart of income. That might be the next course. And for everybody who is in the Heart of Influence starts Monday. So Heart of Influence is starting Monday. If you know that it's something you want to get into and you haven't gotten into it, have a conversation with Doug or Dorina, and make sure that you've locked yourself in. Monday, it does start. It's a 6-8 week course. Oh, we'll talk about it.
12 weeks.
12 weeks. 12 weeks.
But not in a row. There's a couple of pockets.
And I've added a little social media element to it. So I want to open it up. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Everybody who's here each week, who's gaining, by the way, come every week so that every week you can amp up. implement this exercise into your business. Do the Facebook Live video. Share what your business does with the world. Write down what the biggest problem is you solve, and then go on Facebook Live and talk about the problem. Don't talk about the solution. Don't talk about your business. Here's my challenge to you. Just talk about the problem. For me, that would look like what I did today. The problem in the world is there's a fear, there's ignorance, there's a lack of education, which means a misunderstanding of truth. And so my solution is to create truth. It's to identify it myself and then share it with others. Because without fear and ignorance, the world would be a much better place. Hands to Karen, if you recognize that I did that in this call, that's what I'm suggesting you do on Facebook Live today. Share the problem and then ask, notice I did this today, ask your Facebook friends, your community, what are the problems they're facing? What are the challenges they're facing? And then review what you believe your problem is, or what their problem is, and then go back to what they're telling you their problem is. By the way, thank you for everybody who made a contribution. I will be going back through this list. I'm building or tweaking some of our existing products. Is that cool? If we get better every day, if we're not perfect, but we're building millionaires, we're automating the millionaire building process. That's what the 100 Millionaires Inspire to Build 100 Millionaires is all about, is how to improve, how to get more people through, and how to create abundance in the world. That's what Alchemist Nation is all about. If you haven't already registered for the 100 Millionaire Summit, if you haven't gotten your tickets, especially for the VIPs right now, lock in, because those are going to go very quickly. And how many we sold already? 3. So 3 have already sold last week. So now that we've been talking about it, letting people know what's going on, the VIP tickets are selling quick. We only have 8 months left until the summit. There are only 30 spots. Now there are 27 spots. So if you know the VIP is right for you, don't wait till they're $5,000. That's NLP, right? Don't wait until they're $5,000. You might want to get them while they're $1,500. So 100 Millionaire Summit, that's 100mmsummit.com. Get your tickets today. I'm going to open it up to the coaches so that we can. Yes, we're going to do questions that the coaches are going to answer. I have Dorina on the side of me. By the way, it's say hi to the Russian princess. Thank you for today. So we're going to open it up to questions for our celebrity coaches to answer. I want to, by the way, point out, if you don't have questions, you're missing an opportunity. And one of the coaches is going to have to do the book of the week. I forgot the book this week. Coaches, which one of you would like to run this week's book of the week? Who's read the book Elon Musk by
of all weeks for Mike Shine not to be here,
right?
Elon Musk, his idol.
All right, so I've read it. So the book Elon Musk was written by a woman, Ashley, and she ghost wrote the book. She practically begged Elon to be able to read it. Ryan, did you read the book? Do you have it? Ryan McDermott?
No, I haven't read it.
Has everybody on the call not read Elon Musk's book? Elon Musk? All right. So this is a challenge then. I'm going to challenge everybody in the community who's watching this video to go read this book this week and get into the mindset of a man who is absolutely obsessed with solving the biggest problems on the planet. Read the book, understand it was not written by him. It was written by somebody who studied him, who met him in person, got his permission, took him out to lunch a couple of times, and Elon was very involved in the book. She was not allowed to write certain things. She had to negotiate to write certain things about him. And then she went and interviewed all of his family, friends, relatives, people who worked for him, and wrote a book that is 100% Elon Musk. It's about Elon, some of the things he would wish people didn't know about, and then some things that he wouldn't have thought to say. This makes sense. It comes with her own bias opinion of like, okay, this is how he talks, is how he's perceived. So it's a very, very valuable asset to read this book. It's called Elon Musk. And if you want to use my affiliate link, you can go to gualtermorello.com, go to the 52 Weeks to Wealth, and click on the book there. And I am okay with receiving money, the 19 cents for selling a book on Amazon. And scam, if you know, you should, practice affiliate links anyway. It's not about how much you make. It's about creating one more stream of income, just one more way of making money and allowing the universe to send you cash. Because one day those affiliate links could be my affiliate links, and I pay $500 for people who join the mentorship. or things like the live events. So there's money in affiliates. You just got to be an affiliate to the right people, right, Mark? It's all about those right relationships. So we're going to open up to questions. Questions for the coaches. People who don't ask questions are missing out on opportunities. People who do ask questions are serving the entire community. So ask a question. The person who unmutes the mic first is serving the most because it gets the ball rolling. I want to just answer question after question after question. I'm going to have the celebrity coaches answer those questions. So coaches, you know what you're the specialist on. I'll let you guys take it away.
Hi, Walter. I have a question.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I was wondering if, I don't know if this is the place right now, or maybe if you have a class on it about syndications.
Class coming. When you ask about syndications, what is the curiosity you have around it?
Exactly from start to finish, exactly what it is, how you put it together. I've never been involved with a syndication, but I've had some people reach out to me and ask me to be a part of different syndications, and I don't have any knowledge on that.
Excellent, Melissa, that's a great awareness. And I'm going to write down that one, Mike Shine has been studying a lot about syndications. I personally have studied a lot about them. I've, come very close to investing in them. I've created a fund, so very close to a syndication. And we probably should start communicating about syndications in the community. If you want to take a really cool course to learn about syndications, Rod Cleef created one on Alchemist Nation. If you go to alchemistnation.com, go down to the course, I believe it's how the abundance of multifamily is the name of the course. It's by Rod Cleef. You'll see his picture on there. And go through those videos. And at the end, he has an offering for another free course that talks all about syndication. And I think that course is 28 videos, and it's just really deep, really cool course. Okay. Steve Brett doesn't have a course yet. Coming soon, Steve Breton will be building a course around syndication. So coming soon.
Okay, great. And I have a suggestion. I was brainstorming with my sponsor, Kim Rodriguez. Hi, Kim. And we were chatting about possibly on Alchemist Nation, how you have different topics. And maybe if we worked with Darina and some of the coaches, and maybe if we came up with something about the special needs and housing, and maybe having that as a separate topic too.
Melissa, just shoot me a text. You tell me what you want me to name it, what image you'd like there to be, and I will create that for you personally. Okay.
Did you hear that, Kim? Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's give Melissa and Kim a round of applause. Any improvements you'd like to see on Alchemist Nation, send them to me directly, and I'll make sure that they either happen or they're added to the docket. They're added to the list of things that Ron and I are working on. Awesome. What else? What other questions? Questions for our celebrity coaches. We've got Mitch Jorsky, the king of crypto. We've got Doug McGurk, the king of speaking. Dr. Terry Wager generates income. Ryan McDermott helps your finances get right. Go ahead, Melissa.
So now with the inflation, it seems like even earnest money is for some reason inflating. So people are wanting like $5,000 for earnest money, when even for like off market, when it used to be like, just $100 or whatever, just like, because it's refundable anyways, but now it's like 5,000. So how do I either negotiate it or find people who would do the old way?
Drew Martin, if you can grab this one, brother.
I mean, different markets vary in different places, but I generally put $0 to tops $10 down on every property I put under contract. I mean, I've got, about 30 properties that are under contract right now. So far in the last 6 months, there was one time that I put $1,000 down. Are you dealing directly with seller? Are you dealing with real estate agents?
Not agent. Well, some are agents and some are wholesalers.
Okay. Well, I mean, I buy direct from seller always, as far as that goes. So, I mean, the number one goal I would say to anyone and everyone that's trying to get rich or make money in real estate is buying direct from seller. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of you are here to be wholesalers, and yes, you can make great money being a wholesaler, but if you're the actual investor and you're looking to buy this property and flip it, or you're looking to buy this and hold it, you want to buy it directly from the seller to get that discount directly from them. And I mean, doing that, you know, every contract, it automatically has $10 in there, and it's not even a question. It's just breezed right over. You know, I mean, I could walk you guys through myself, you know, the way I read through a contract, and I do it fast on purpose, you know, and I do tell them, stop me if you have any questions, but I do it fast on purpose, but I don't even discuss the earnest money, but it says it right underneath the price of the property, which is highlighted in yellow. So, you know, if they stop me on it, they stop me. But, you know, that's one thing about that too, is that you can say, you know, listen, earnest money it's a completely refundable deposit. The reality of it is, you know, either the buyer is going to come through or the buyer is not. Any real estate contract is skewed in the favor of the buyer much more than the seller when it comes to purchasing a property. The buyer has outs, whereas the seller has much less outs. I don't know if that helps, but that, you know.
Would it be valuable if Drew Martin spoke this Wednesday or one of the Wednesdays coming up and actually shared what he says to a seller on the call? Would that be huge value to everybody? Drew Martin, would you be interested in serving the community in that manner?
We could do a mock call. We could do that.
Kevin Pereira, you're on the call. Would you set it up with Drew? Make sure that he knows how to get to the link and get to the event. All right, Darina, Kevin might not be on here. Can you disconnect Kevin? Thank you. Let's give Drew Martin and Melissa a round of applause. Great question, great answer. What else? What challenge? Question. Julie Bradley, you're up.
Love to serve. For all the flippers on the call, go ahead and let me know I made a mistake with my first one. I have a tenant in the property. So what advice do coaches have other than cash for keys when that's unsuccessful and before eviction?
And there's nothing wrong with cash for keys. Coaches, Go ahead.
Yeah, cash for keys is definitely an option that you want to go. I mean, you certainly want to do that, but and I don't know what kind of a stage you're at with it, but sometimes you have no choice but to just go the legal way and, you know, and to battle it out in that direction. Been through that process a couple of times. It sucks, but I mean, I've even taken possession of a property by kicking the door with a security guard. But we had approval from the court before doing so. So, you know, it can get ugly, but you just gotta stand your ground, and you gotta take possession of your property.
I love it. And Dr. Terry Wager, I know you've been working with this with a lot of your clients. What would you say are some of the negotiation strategies that somebody could go through?
You're really involved in a sales conversation at that point, before you go to kicking doors or before you go to evictions or giving them money. Find out what they really want and why they're locked into that instead of moving on. And if you can solve their problem, and this is very much in line with solving a problem, like our topic today is. You solve a problem, you help them move on. A lot of people aren't moving on because they don't know what's next. So if you can help them problem solve around what's next for them and help them to at least get clarity around where they can go, where they will go, why they would want to go, rather than getting into a battle with you, then you're going to have a much easier time paving the way for them to move forward. I think too often we start getting into I need to protect myself, I need to get my stuff, instead of going, what I'm actually doing from their point of view is I'm taking their home. And so, although I own it, they're still the tenant at that point. And so, if I go back to, okay, what would I want in their situation, and be able to help them with a path to their situation being solved, then I can actually have a conversation with them that helps them to feel much more comfortable about moving on.
Excellent. Was that valuable? Excellent. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager and Julie Bradley and Drew Martin a round of applause. What are the questions?
Thank you,
for our
Drew. Thank you,
coaches?
Terry.
Absolutely.
Celebrity coaches, millionaires who are willing to answer your questions. First to unmute the mic goes next.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Chica.
Shakia.
Shakia. Thank you.
I have recently been exposed to an HOI, which is a home equity investment. Do you have any knowledge about that? Because that's pretty new to me. So what's the difference between that and what is the negative factors in a home equity investment versus like a home equity loan and refinances? Like, what is the gimmick with that?
Shakia, I personally am humbled by this question. And if you ask it to me on Alchemist Nation, I will get you a better answer than this. I'll open it up to any of the coaches if you've heard of it, or even Brian Huffman, if you've heard of it, because I know you're just as nerdy as I am. All right. Mitch?
I have one. Don't do it.
Have you, Brian? You've heard of it?
Well, yeah, that's what I have on my home. The access to your equity as like
Yeah.
a zero payment loan, but they get a share of the future appreciation of your value, of the value of your home. So it's like a zero interest loan, but the payment is future equity of your home.
Yes.
Whoa, yeah, stay away.
Yeah, and they
Wow.
say
So you're
it as
basically
a-
partnering with the bank.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
inviting a partner into your business.
yes.
Ron, I think I got a new business instrument that you and I should start using. We're going to be lending. What is it? Home equity
Home equity
investment.
investment. Yes.
Oh, it's dark. Oh, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that one to us. It's, it's
No
the first-
problem.
How did I know that Brian Huffman would have some experience with this? Right?
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. And Shakia, if you can go to alchemistnation.com and actually drop that question again in the chat. I know there's a lot of
No
people who didn't
problem.
take this call who would actually get value from that.
No problem.
Thank you. Awesome. Let's give Shakia a round of applause. Very valuable. Other questions? Next up, questions, comments, challenges for the coaches. Things that are going in your world. What has stopped you from making $1 million? First to unmute goes next.
Can you hear me?
Hey, we hear you, Jamie.
Yes.
And it's great seeing you Thursday.
Likewise, that was fun. So my question is, when you were saying what's stopping you from making $1 million, is that pretty much like geared more towards like on the real estate end? So how would you suggest making $1 million in a business like more escalated in an escalated way?
So in a business like yours, you're in a law practice, it's based on your list and the amount of clients that you serve. So let's say that should be a 3 to 5 times business minus the assets. So let's assume you have no assets other than your list. You'd have to bring in about $250,000 a year to value your business at $1 million. You could sell your business for $1 million if you consistently bring in $250,000 a year. So make $250,000 and you've got $1 million business. Any attorney worth their salt would buy the business as long as you've built it, informed the company properly with a list and marketing strategies that are consistent and clients that are consistent. Then it's totally worth it for them. If they know they're just by owning that list and the name of your company, they're going to make another $250,000 next year. It's a no-brainer. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Okay, so I guess it's pretty much kind of getting that volume in.
Getting that volume in, and it's got to be the right volume. It's got to be clients who close often, clients who consistently, or it's got to be a marketing strategy that is proven and consistent that generates that business to keep coming back in.
Got it. Thanks, Walter. Appreciate it.
Awesome question, Jamie. You're very welcome. Let's give Jamie a round of applause. I love these questions. These are valuable for the whole community. And I should have left that to one of the coaches. So next up, first to unmute goes next.
Walter, there's actually a question in the Q&A from Tiana, and it says, what do you guys think about asset-based lending? It's a great way to buy multifamilies with minimal down payment. I agree, but my point of view when you say asset-based lending is me thinking of those of us and people like Mike Shine that have really, really large stock market brokerage accounts that they can essentially do asset-based lending against and borrow at essentially 1%, sometimes even less. So for those people in that position, great freaking idea. If you have other kind of viewpoints on what asset-based lending means, obviously add to the question. But yeah, those in position to do asset-based lending, take advantage of it because it is definitely lower interest rates than any kind of traditional loans.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. He's a scaredy cat guide to knowing what the heck Bitcoin is and scaredy cat guide to real estate investing. Wrote the books, owns a website, and blogs about it daily. Thank you, Mitch.
Hey,
Dr. Terry Wager.
Ryan has to go real quick.
There we go.
And so let's have Ryan give his 2 cents on this week's deal before he's got to take off.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, great lesson. What Walter's kind of saying earlier about, financial freedom is being sort of like this thing that you can't really, it's not a hard number, and picking $1 million is a very specific thing. I kind of like that because I find a lot of people who come into the community are kind of after financial freedom. And so if I'm trying to, as the financial sort of coach in this world, the problem I have to solve is helping people to become financially free. But if that financial freedom is really just a feeling, that's a very hard thing to really solve. And so if we could break it down into numbers, in $1 million, I like the idea of aiming towards $1 million. But my job, if you really want to be financially free or have financial independence and be able to live off of your wealth, getting to that $1 million, if you hold the wrong $1 million, you might only be a 40,000-aire. You could have $1 million and be an 80,000-aire, or you could have $1 million and be 120,000-aire. And it all that all depends on how you're set up. And so anyway, the problem that I have come to realize as being in this community over the last 2 years is to help people set the right financial structure up so that when they get to that $1 million, they're actually a little bit closer to feeling free and gaining that feeling that they want to be free financially. So
let's give Ryan McDermott a round of applause. Applying the principle in the conversation. I love it. Awesome. Doug McGurk, I know you spend the weekend with your daughter and your wife. What is your take on Wealth Principle 6?
Well, thank you. So one of the challenges, and we really need to be very clear about this, is, let me say this. This is a problem I have had in the past and still struggle with at times, is because my whole goal is to, be sure people are feeling great. And the challenge is that what we need to do when we're solving someone's problem is speak to the problem and relate to them with the problem and not offer the solutions because we want them to feel good. And oftentimes we're actually doing them a disservice by putting a Band-Aid on a flesh wound, by allowing them to feel good in the moment and then realizing that they haven't now actually set themselves up for the next best steps. So as influencers here and so forth, and to Terry's brilliant point earlier about, obviously you got to have your plan in place if you've got to get someone out and so forth. And we still need to connect with them on the problem side with the solution offer, not just make them feel good in that moment and have them go, oh, okay. And then as soon as people walk out the door, we get off the phone or whatever, they're like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't solve the actual problem. You just made me feel good for the moment. And then it's associating the feel goods to taking action in whatever offer we have to solve their problem. So we don't have buyer's remorse. We don't have those things. So these are the conversations we obviously get into as well in Heart of Influence. It's what NLP, that's what our service is. What we bring to people is long-term solutions to whatever challenges they're having, not just the short term, okay, well, we'll just fix this at the moment. Because as we all know, if we just fix our short-term problems, we're just setting ourselves up for the next problem to reoccur because we didn't do a long-term solution. So that's my experience from that perspective is the marketing of our solution as opposed to the just solving their problem in that moment. If that makes sense. We just want to be sure that we're not solving them softly.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. The celebrity coaches were chosen because they're experts. They've written books on their topics. They are really the professionals in their arenas. Doug McGurk traveled with Tony Robbins for 3 years as one of his coaches. Was touring with Tony. He's been through NLP training. He's been through speaking training upon speaking training. He is now a trainer of speaking. If you think speaking isn't important, let me tell you this. It is the #1 highest paid job in the world because sales is communication. Sales is speaking. And if you're selling, then you're making money. If you're not selling, then you're being sold. And so you're spending money. So definitely have a conversation with Doug McGurk, especially if you're in the mentorship. Reach out to Doug. He does have Heart of Influence, which is happening this Monday. Once that program starts, it is difficult to get into it, and it lasts for 12 weeks. So it won't be available again for that 12 weeks. If you can go 12 weeks, if you go 3 months without making extra money, without improving your conversions, awesome. God bless you. I don't know how you do it. But if you know that increasing your conversions and getting that extra income is really important and imperative for your business, send Doug a message on Alchemist Nation and ask him how to get into the course, or you can just jump over to the course. It is still available as one of the premier courses on Alchemist Nation, but it will be coming down this week. So make sure, it won't be coming down. No, I'll be leaving it up. Okay, it'll still be there, just you won't be able to buy into it. So for everybody who's in the course, all of the extra bonuses and added values of the course, the communication for the course will be held on Alchemist Nation. So you're welcome. Congratulations. Let's give Doug one more round of applause. Communication solves all the problems. Dr. Terry, it's Jorsky. I saw you on mute. What's going on? I'm letting Dr. Terry go.
He's got to go.
I got to bounce.
Mitch Jorsky, bring it. Bring the heat.
I got family in town. I got events coming up. Always be networking and entertaining family at the same time. That's what happens when you live in Florida. You're always on vacation because someone's always visiting.
Tell me about it.
It's an awesome, rough life, right? Poor us in Florida. That's why you and Dorina moved down. So, you said the word, in terms of communicating and who you're communicating with. And I think that's actually a good point to hang our hat on, because when it comes to, this wealth principle about, building a business that, solves a problem or, serves a need, when you're communicating people and when you talk to, I guess, what I'll say is normies, as we say in crypto land, normal people that do their normal jobs and all that stuff. And you tell them about some business idea and they're just like, oh, that'll never work. Oh, you're crazy. Right. So that piece technically wouldn't be bad if you get the second part, which is generally what everyone in this community does and says, all right, I don't know if that will work or if that actually serves a need, and then start asking questions and work towards that finish line where it's like, all right, we were pointing in this direction. We just need to tweak it a little bit this way. And whatever that product or idea was, it's like, all right, it's still in that same realm, but it's now filling a need, because plenty of people have great ideas that they're like, oh, this is awesome. And then they build a business and bake this product and no one buys it because it's not something that actually people need, or it's not solving a problem. And that's why you want to get that critical feedback, but pay attention to who you're communicating to when you do that, because when you do that with, like I said, quote unquote normies, you might just get that, oh, that's dumb, that's never going to work. And, kind of just the hating, as opposed to other like-minded people or other entrepreneurs where they're going to be like, either they're going to, they might love the idea, but let's just say hypothetically, like, I don't really know if there's a market for that. How about X, Y, Z? And then you start brainstorming together to get whatever that product is, or to essentially, meld and shape that product into something that is filling a need or, desired by people. So it goes back to pay attention to who you're communicating with when you're looking to build out your business plan and build out your business idea, because there's those that are going to push you forward. And then there's those that are basically just want to keep you stuck where they are. So don't let them project. And that's what I love about this community, because there's a bunch of people that are looking to push me forward. And it happens all the time, every week when I talk to Walter and Mike on the podcast pregame. That's literally what's going on. We're molding and melding. So just, again, pay mind to who you're communicating with.
Let's give Mitch Jaworski a round of applause. Keep the right company. Again, why the 100 Millionaire Summit was such a valuable idea, such a valuable asset for the community. Charles Coachman, I know I'll see you there this year. You were sitting there thinking, I'm going last year, but it didn't happen. And now this year, like, yes, I will be there. All of us will be there, because it's all about getting ourselves to the next level. Whatever it takes to get to the summit, get to the summit. Be at the summit, and all the other challenges that are facing you will be solved, because we'll solve them in that room with the right people, with the right education. Doreen, are you speaking? Get over there. That's a no. Dr. Terry Wager, you're up.
All right. You know, the problem you solve. Whenever we start working with a business, it's the first question. One of the first questions we ask is, what is the problem you solve? Because if you don't know the problem you solve, you're not able to actually provide the services or provide the product that the person needs. And then, I don't know, how many people here have Facebook? Right, everybody. How many people get all tons of value thrown at you that you don't want? They're calling it value, you're calling it spam. It's just a different spelling. The thing is we don't necessarily know what the problem they have is. We know the problem we solve. And so what most people end up doing, and I mean, my Facebook feed is filled with people providing value that is just frickin' spam, because I don't have that problem. And then they're throwing out all of this stuff, and they're solving symptom after symptom after symptom, but no problem has been solved. Everyone continues to focus on solving symptoms, thinking they're solving a problem, but they never actually talk to the person who has the problem to understand what the problem is, how it shows up, what happens as a result of that problem. And once we understand the problem, then we can see if we can offer the solution, or if we can offer a resource that has a solution. And that's called a relationship. And not enough people are building relationships. They're trying to add value. They're trying to solve symptoms. They're trying to put all kinds of information out there that is getting them seen, but they're not creating a relationship, because a relationship is reciprocal. In a relationship, we listen to the other person. And so what I'm suggesting is, when you figure out the problem you solve, and you have a problem that you can solve, stop telling people about the problem and start asking them where they're at. Start engaging the people about what's going on. This is how you build a relationship that you can actually move forward, build your relationship, build your business, build your life, with understanding the problem you solve and how you can solve it for them. That's what I got.
This making sense? Valuable stuff? Awesome. Awesome. So I know it's a little later than usual, and I'm still working on the format. Who liked the Q&A before the coaches session this week? All right. Okay. So the Q&A is hot. Excellent. And I think that going forward this week, I just want to ask that each one of you focuses a little deeper on what your problem that you solve is. You may not have the problem anymore, so you may have to just go back to what it was like to have that problem. Or imagine, put yourself in the shoes of the person who has that problem. But this week, really focus in and imagine that the problem is so big, like visualize the bigger problem, visualize what people would pay for it, and do something about it. Commit to doing something about it. Let's give all of our celebrity coaches and our mentors a round of applause. Let's thank Drew Martin. He's coming soon. He and I are going to be speaking next week or the week after to get him connected so we can level up and serve you guys on a bigger way. Thank you, each one of you, for your commitment to yourself, to your commitment to your success, for being here every Saturday to increase your motivation, increase your skill set, increase your knowledge, and increase the value to this community. There is money in this room. It may come in the form of work, deals, or actual cash. But there are connections to be made in Alchemist Nation because we do our deals morally, ethically, and legally. Everything that we do must be a win-win-win for everybody involved. So if you're looking to do a deal with somebody on Alchemist Nation or in Alchemist Nation or on these calls, just shoot me a message first. Verify with me that I have actually done business with them, or verify with me that they have been through the mentorship or I know them personally. There are now people being added to Alchemist Nation that have not quite gone through the mentorship. So the website itself, alchemiststation.com, is now allowing anybody on who wants free access to free courses that me and the other millionaires are building and putting out there to serve the community. So just so you know, the website itself, we're networking. Just double check with me or one of the coaches. Make sure that we do have a relationship with that person. There are people on there, like Terry said, who are spamming the platform. I am solving the problem. I don't even message them anymore. I just delete the posts. That makes sense. I used to message them and be like, hey, by the way, this is spam. And I realized that's just a waste of my time. I delete the post and I move on to the next. So if you have something valuable, and by the way, if you haven't had a post deleted, you're doing fine. Please create those posts. Please share your questions. Questions are valuable, right? Questions are the most valuable content at Alchemist Nation. The more I have seen questions, the more comments I see, the more involvement from the mentors I see, the other millionaires I see. So ask questions. If you're looking to become an influencer on the platform, ask valuable questions. Does that make sense? You're going to be known, be seen within the community, ask valuable questions. The community responds well to questions. They also have those same questions. We're all looking to build more millionaires this year. Some of you are looking to build yourself first. I was talking to somebody yesterday. They said, put the mask on before you put a mask on somebody else. Take care of yourself. Get your million before you go and build millionaires. So cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best. I'll see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Walter, we up?
The best.
Best. We up, Walter?
Best. I was just going to text you, Terry. This